Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to our podcast today. These podcasts are brought to you in part by our sponsors, who really truly are what make these podcasts possible every week. O'Fallon Nutrition is a company that I've worked with for over 15 years. They're independently owned and operated, located here in O'Fallon, Missouri, right off of Highway K and Mexico Road. I call this place the Whole Foods of St. Charles County, but even if you are not located on this side of the river, it is still worth the drive. I can remember working all the way down at Powerhouse and still sending people out to O'Fallon Nutrition for their supplements. They are more than a supplement company. You can get grass-fed beef, salad dressing, seasoning for your cooking, hair care products, makeup, deodorant, toothpaste, essential oils, and all the vitamins and minerals that you can think of. If you're looking for clean, whole food nutrition, as well as home care, house care, skincare products, O'Fallon Nutrition is your place. You can take a look at them at o'fallonnutrition.com, or if you'd like to have something shipped, if you're listening to me from outside of St. Louis, you can certainly have items shipped. I know they do free shipping if it's an order over $50, and the phone number is 636-240-5283. Again, it's o'fallonnutrition.com. As well as if preparing your food on a weekly basis is your primary excuse for why you're not able to stay on a good, clean eating program, which is something that I hear very regularly from my clients, I would ask you to please take the time to check out Pure Plates. It's pureplatesstl.com. They are a phenomenal place. We get our food from there during the week. They deliver to our Integrity location. They will deliver to your house. They also are just available for pickup. You can go to their Chesterfield location or their Kirkwood location and just pick up meals for the day, as well as just having them delivered right to your door. So if preparing your food is your main excuse for why you cannot stay on a healthy eating program, then I would suggest just stop by Pure Plates. Just try it. If you're trying to lower your blood pressure, you're trying to lower your cholesterol, you're trying to get your blood sugar down, try to do Pure Plates meals for a week and just see how different you feel. These are organic meals. They are gluten-free. If you need them to be, they can be dairy-free. They are soy-free. You're not taking any processed sugars or meat-curing agents or preservatives. They really, truly believe in nutrient-dense meals that are just whole food nutrition. And I've had my clients, or I've made recommendations for my clients for years at Pure Plates. It's pureplatesstl.com, or you can call them to ask questions at 636-778-3555. Again, remembering that they have a location in Chesterfield as well as in Kirkwood that you can just run by and pick up a meal today. Everyone always asks me where I get my meat from, and given that I really eat meat on a daily basis, typically beef primarily, my meat is very important to me. I have an autoimmune condition and I want grain-free, corn-free meat, and I just haven't found the confidence in stores in knowing that I'm getting 100% grass-fed, grass-finished beef. And I have searched and searched and searched for the right farm, and I have found the farm. It's fedfromthefarm.com, fed, F-E-D, from thefarm.com. These farmers are amazing. It's a family. They're here in Missouri, and they have the desire, just like I do, to see people well and to see people healthy, and they put a lot into what they do. It's such a wonderful family to support. They do offer 100% grass-finished, grass-fed, meaning that's it. A beef, and I get my ribeyes, I get my ground beef, my ground sirloin, I get my chuck roast. I mean, they basically have everything. They even have awesome jerky, but they also have eggs, they have chickens, and they have turkey. I'm planning on getting a turkey for Thanksgiving, and if you'd like lamb, they have that as well. But if you are in need of good quality grass-fed, grass-finished beef, or quality eggs, chicken, turkey, don't just settle for what you're getting at the local store. to go out on the internet and check out Fed from the Farm. That you can arrange a pickup or you can have it delivered to to your home. And I can guarantee you're going to taste the difference. For me, my health actually depends on it. So I really thank God to have found such a great farmer. Fedfromthefarm.com. I hope it blesses you.
Welcome to Faith, Fuel, and Fitness, the Integrity Way, with your hosts, John and Debbie Morris from Integrity Training Systems.
Hey everybody, John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems here on Real Talk 93.3. We always like to start our segment by, I guess, dancing. Debbie is dancing right now, so I guess that's how we like to start the show.
Remember last week I was doing the shoulder pumps?
You were.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Tony Robbins,
shoulder pumps.
Get it pumped up.
Circulation.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah, and you were like expecting me to carry a conversation while you were doing it. Like I wasn't going to break while you were like doing these in-seat jumping jacks.
Well, at this point, I would think after 12 years, you should be used to this sort of behavior from me.
No, you're used to it from me. Like it's not usually the opposite.
Yeah.
Okay, well, guys, we always like to talk to you about being a warrior. If you've never tuned in with us before, then I like to tell you that a warrior is a brave or experienced soldier or fighter, and it's important to recognize that you don't have to be a brave soldier. You don't got to be in the armed forces. You don't got to be brave and take on every single thing that you see and not have fear. You just have to be experienced and be a fighter. I mean, if you've overcome anything in your life, that counts as experience. And the fact that you've overcome it means you fought it. So that means you get to be a warrior. And if you choose to be a warrior, what that means is that you're capable of taking on whatever life throws at you. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy. I mean, think about any war that's ever occurred. There's nothing really easy about it. And I always compare it to like when you talk about taking something on as a previous fighter, and, my most recent iteration that I did in the past few years was jiu-jitsu and doing competitions for jiu-jitsu. I was really good. I did really well as far as like numbers go. I had 10 wins and 2 losses. And so when I tell you I was really good, I tell you that to say every match, I was super nervous. I was scared almost. Like, I don't want to lose. Like, what if they're better than me? And so I don't say I'm really good to like cockily tell you I am. I was a white belt, so it's not like I was competing with black belts. But, what I realize is, and what I'm trying to help you with is whatever you're looking at, whatever's tough, whatever you're dealing with, it's okay to have fear towards it. It's okay to not know if you've got that fight in you, but you just have to have the fight anyway. Was it John Wayne that said that quote? He said, I'm going to totally butcher this. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's being afraid and moving forward in spite of it. Yes. Right? Yeah. So it's like that. Just be courageous. You don't got to be fearless. Just be courageous. And so there's always going to be another level. Like you're capable of moving on. I just told you I had a pretty good record as a white belt, but I didn't compete as a blue belt or a purple belt or a brown belt or a black belt. Like if I were to compete at those levels, that'd be a completely different battle. I wasn't ready for that. But what gets you ready for that is the battle you're in now. And so if you look back, you're going to recognize that there's always, what is the statement? Another level, another devil, next level, next level. So the fight never really goes away. But if you choose to fight, what you're going to find is that you can overcome, and if you're struggling, find somebody that's done it. Like we don't live in the era of only talking to people in your neighborhood anymore. Google it, look it up, find a coach, find someone to help you with whatever you're dealing with.
Absolutely. I think that's what we do for a living, right? Is
right.
Help people become warriors. We instruct them on what it takes to become a warrior.
Yeah, I mean,
not give up, to have a never give up attitude.
Ed Milet said that your greatest qualifier to do something or help someone, you actually usually think is your most disqualifying attribute. So it's like for me, being broken is why I get to help people. So it's like if someone is out there and they've dealt with what you've dealt with, you want to work with them. Like you want to know, like, okay, that guy overcame that, so he's gonna be able to help me.
Yeah, we went to a place called DB2. It's a regenerative health clinic, and we took John there, and they're doing PRP injections and exosomes in his back. And what is that machine?
So decompression therapy.
Decompression therapy also. And so when
I feel like William Wallace, like when he's getting pulled apart at the end, he's like, freedom. Because like it's just like I'm up to 123 pounds of pressure. I mean, I'm not bragging or anything, but that's a lot. But yeah, it's so crazy. It pulls you apart at the hips and the lats. Like it's not like an inversion table. You're laying down. They wrap it around your hips. They wrap it around your lats. And then it applies that pressure and it statically holds. And then it lets a little bit loose and then it statically holds. And it's all computer operated. And it's pretty fascinating how you feel when you stand up.
But when we met with Doug,
Yeah.
who is the owner of the clinic, who's been phenomenal, and we really, really have enjoyed meeting with him. He's a great guy.
Yes.
I've referred a lot of people to the place. It's a wonderful place. And when we met with him, he said, "Listen, John, we can make it to where you can get back to work, but here's what I'm worried about is, people are going to know that something happened because after you have these injections, you really need to not do A, B, and C, for the next week or so." And he goes, as a personal trainer, I don't know if you maybe need to take some time off because, people are going to be aware. And so we just kind of looked at him and we're like, yeah, people have been aware for 12 years that John has a back injury.
Right.
Very aware. He's been on a cane before.
Yep.
He's come in and trained people and walked around on a cane before.
Have to sit down.
He shows up no matter what the situation is. He's definitely had some days where he couldn't show up because he was too sick, but he shows up. He shows up every day. He shows up every chance he can, no matter what the back injury is, no matter what the shoulder injury is, no matter what the situation is. And so I think Doug was just a little bit surprised. And we were just like, the reality of it is that a lot of the people that work with John because they do know that he has actually gone through things and he's actually overcome those things and he's actually found the path to victory from those things, rather that be losing 100 pounds, overcoming a heart attack, dealing with brain issues, learning how to stabilize your mood with food, learning how to stabilize his back in multiple different ways and multiple different methods, dealing with issues with his knees, dealing with issues with his shoulders. So he doesn't stand in front of those clients and say, I'm perfect. I'm the epitome of health and fitness. I am perfection. Strive to be like me. He shows them what it takes to be a warrior, to wake up every day, and in spite of the challenges, in spite of the pain, in spite of the complications, in spite of going and getting injections, in spite of going and doing decompression, he still comes right back to work. He still does the work. He still does his workouts. He's still doing all that he needs to do.
I think the biggest thing is I have become the guy that when I tell you all of my issues, you start to not believe me. Like, okay, he had all that happen. And I want to tell you right now, like you are too. Like you've had the same amount of stuff happen to you. If you're listening right now and you're over the age of 5, I guarantee you're on the track to having a lot of things happen to you. Okay, maybe you haven't been stabbed. I have, okay? But did you fall and break your arm as a kid on a skateboard? I've never done that. I've never broke my arm. I've never been in an arm cast. So we all have our stuff. And I think the point Debbie's trying to make is if you can find someone to help you to overcome what you're currently dealing with, that's going to actually propel you to the next stage of your life. And if you're someone who has overcome something, I'm telling you, like helping someone else that's in the same place, even if you don't feel qualified because you've struggled with and or might be currently struggling with, but on a different level than someone else. If you've never considered helping someone yourself, like, man, it's so huge. I mean, just being able to give to somebody, and it's amazing how sometimes you giving to somebody is actually the key to your own success.
Absolutely. And there are people that say, I know what to do. I know what I need to do. I just need to do it.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't need to hire someone. I really know what to do.
Yeah.
But the problem is you're not doing it. You're continuing to say that you
Right.
know what to do and you're not doing it. So you actually do need to hire someone because although you think that you know what to do and you think that you have this plan in place, something is missing because you have not created the pattern of discipline to stay consistent with it and to actually pattern out your days to make it a possibility and to make it something that you do consistently.
And another thing to consider is, we're professionals in this industry, okay? And we're still learning. I force myself to do a minimum of 4 hours, even though I'm a busy person, a week of continuing education. I'm learning about something a client's dealing with, or a problem or a pain or something I've heard about. I'm researching, I'm looking at this. And what I'm going to tell you is I still don't know. The more I learn, the more I realize I don't know. So if you're sitting there telling yourself you know what you need to do and this isn't your industry, you're probably fooling yourself, even if you've done it before. So finding a professional that can help you, it's no different than things that I've had to find professionals for over the years.
For more information on a 6-month nutrition program with myself or a free personal fitness assessment with any of our personal trainers, take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com or give us a call at 636-299-2208. For gluten-free, dairy-free baked goods delivered to your door, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. And for 100% grass-fed beef, the only meat that the Morris family will eat, take a look at fedfromthefarm.com.
Welcome back, everybody. John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3. We just got done talking to you about what it meant to be a warrior, and we were talking about hiring a coach or hiring someone to help you. It's like I did interviews when I was in law enforcement, and I did continuing education on being able to interview people, and a lot of that has to do with psychology. So I studied a fair amount of psychology, and you learn people and archetypes and how to read something that someone's saying, and are they telling the truth, and what does it mean? And, up to 10 years ago, I mean, I don't know if I've done it since then, Dad, correct me, because I, can't even remember yesterday, but I went to therapists. I went to psychologists to get help with things I was dealing with. So my point is, even as someone who learned psychology, it's not my craft. And so I had to have help with it. I know how to change the oil in a car, but there's a pretty good chance I'm going to mess it up because I don't know how to change it necessarily in my current car. So I go to professional for that. Okay. There's just a reason for certain things. If you can change your oil and you know how to do it perfectly, that's great. But that's not my skill set. So I need someone that can help me with that. I tried to fix a toilet this week at the gym, and it did not go well. So I had to call a buddy of mine. He's a plumber, and he's going to come do it. And he was cracking up because he's like, you did good. And I'm like, that's like when you tell a child, great job for trying. And he's just cracking up, But I can't do his job. Even if I had looked it up, which I tried to, it's I know I'm hammering this horse, beating this dead horse down. But here's why I'm so passionate about it. So many people are struggling in life right now. It hurts my heart. Their minds aren't right. Their bodies aren't right. Their spirit's not right. And they're just stuck in this lie of the enemy that it doesn't get better. And so it's a lie that you don't need somebody. It's a lie that you know what you need to do. And it helps to surround yourself with like-minded individuals that are attempting to do the same thing.
I just want to go through and summarize this meeting that I had this morning right before we came here, just to give an example of what it would be like working with someone and how different it would be than doing it for yourself. So the first person that I met with this morning is a professional. They are a caregiver. They're a doctor, basically. So they provide care, highly intelligent, more than capable of figuring a lot out for themselves, more than capable. But they hired me because they need the help. They need someone to cut out all the middle stuff and just get them to the front of the line and optimize them. And I think optimization is something that people just don't put enough credit in. So first question that I ask someone is, how is your digestion? Are you going to the bathroom well? If you're not, something's wrong. We need to fix that. How is your energy? Is it steady all throughout the day? If it's not, if you have dips, we can fix that. Something's off. Your percentages of what you're having are not quite where they need to be, and we need to optimize you. How is your hunger? He was not feeling any hunger. He was completely stable, and he was shocked by it. And I said, don't be shocked. We have enough fat and we have enough protein to keep you stabilized throughout your day. That is usually something, that's the spot where people start to fail. They're not getting quite enough. Then I went on to ask about his skin. I asked about pain thresholds in the body. And his eczema on his hands had completely cleared up. And he said, I just didn't know that was possible. And he said, some of the details that you're teaching me are things that I didn't realize made that big of a deal. An example, he sent me a package of meat and he asked me, would this be okay to have? And I said, I wouldn't suggest having sugar in meats. And he said, any other time, I would have just went ahead and bought that meat. And I would have thought, hey, that's the 5th ingredient. I'm not even going to worry about it. He said, but I feel so good right now that all those details that you're putting in place, they matter, and it's just not worth it to me. I'm not taking the chance. And so this is where we can watch Instagram and someone who looks good can say 80-20, 80-20, 80-20, and make it okay for you to not cover your basis on all these details. Or you can hire someone. They can get in the trenches with you, and whatever your problem is, whatever your issue is, they literally will lay down so many specifics that it's physically impossible for you to not feel completely altered every month, walking away like a completely different person. I want you to think about, are you able to do that for yourself? Are you optimizing yourself? I mean, we might think we are. This person is a doctor. They're very, very capable of optimizing themselves. And what's interesting is I saw how detailed this individual was when he came in to meet with me, and I hired him the next month.
Yeah.
I hired him. I was like, listen, I have this issue. I've been dealing with this issue, and I want a doctor that is that detailed. And I was impressed. The first meeting, incredibly detailed. We didn't even do any type of treatments on that first meeting. It was just going through all the details. So I needed someone. Okay. Would I be able to somehow figure things out for myself? Of course. I'm in the business, right? I'm super detailed. I surely I'll figure something out. But I also could hire a professional. They could optimize me, cut me to the front of the line, and change my life. And that's time and money that is well spent. Instead of me just spinning my wheels year after year, month after month, day after day, thinking that I'm doing the right thing.
I think with anything you do in life, you have to give consideration when you say you know how to do it to how long you haven't done it. You know, if you're saying you know how to work out, you just need to do it, and it's been 5 years, you probably need someone to help you do it.
That's exactly
right.
right.
If you're needing to get your house power washed, and you say you know how to do it, and you just got to rent the power washer and get it done, and it's been 10 years, you probably just need to hire a power washer.
But when it comes to exercise and diet, you don't know how to do it
don't.
You're not doing
and
it.
That's
you didn't
the thing.
figure out the pattern of discipline to
Right.
stay committed to it.
Correct.
You maybe don't have the ratios right. You maybe don't have enough fat. You may be getting sugar in your meats. You may be getting these ingredients that are keeping you from being able to do it.
Yes.
So if you're continuously saying, I know what to do, but I'm just not doing it, I'm sorry, but you don't fully 100% know what to do, because if you did, you'd be doing it still.
Right.
You wouldn't have quit. You would have got back on the horse as soon as you messed up. You would know how to make it to where you're not hungry anymore. You'd know how to make it to where you're not tired anymore. You'd know how to make it to where you're not nauseous anymore. You'd know how to make it to where you're not in pain anymore. You would know how to fix all these things, and you wouldn't be in the situation that you're in. Right. So you need somebody, and you need to quit telling yourself that you know how to do it, because you need the help, and the help is going to transform your life.
Yes.
For more information on what we do with a 6-month nutrition program with myself at Integrity, take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com, or for a free personal fitness assessment with any of our personal trainers, give us a call at 636-299-2208. For gluten-free, dairy-free baked goods delivered to your door from my personal bakery, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. And for 100% grass-fed beef, the only meat that the Morris family will eat, take a look at fedfromthefarm.com.
Welcome back, everybody. John and Debbie Morris of Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3. We just got done talking a little bit more about like hiring a professional to help you with what you're doing. And Deb got kind of passionate there at the end because, again, it's near and dear to our heart how many people say, like, I know what I need to do. I just need to do it. Because if you felt well enough, if you found the recipe to success, if you actually did know how to do what had got you healthy, well, and feeling good, you would have continued to do it. And if you do fall off and you do get unwell again, you would remember how well you were and you would want to get back to that. So something was off, whether your brain was off, you weren't optimized to actually feel well. Maybe your weight was where you wanted it to be, your look was where you wanted it to be, but you were still tired, fatigued, brain fog, all of these things. And so you were able to fall away. But like the client she's talking about that she met earlier, he was like, look, I don't ever want to go back. Like, I don't ever want to be in a position where I feel the way I felt ever again. And that's how it was for me. You know, it's like when I lost all of my weight, I lost 100 pounds and I never wanted to go back. I told myself like, hey, I'm never putting that weight back on. And I never did. But that doesn't mean I had times that I would put a little bit of weight back on, or, you know, get a little out of shape, or I'd get hurt. But knowing what I needed to do, I could say that, but I still didn't do it alone. I hired, or I married my coach. So I know that everybody can do that, but you know, she helps me. You know, it's like, hey, like, it's okay. You were very hurt, but now you're seeming like you're a little bit better. Do you think you need to get back to it? And I'll even be like, yeah, you're right. I mean, and I am a professional. I do this for a living. I've trained over 30,000 hours of one-on-one personal training. And when I see my wife, I'm like, hey, can you write me the workout? Because I want a professional to guide me. I want the assistance. I want the accountability. You know, hey, Deb, you're right. I kind of got a little bit off the rails there on my food. Do you think you could just write me something, even though I quote unquote know what I need to do? Could you just give me something to follow? And then I'm right back on track. You know, if you're continually doing that, or even just not continually, occasionally doing it like I did, man, the assistance of just having someone guide you it's completely different.
Absolutely. It's game changing. I mean, I have someone that helps me.
Right.
You know, Roger has done my food since I was basically born, basically. I mean, you know, for the better part of the past 25 years, Roger has overseen my food, and it makes sense. I mean, it makes sense. Recently, I started having low blood sugar, and he was the first person I called. I needed someone to bounce it off of. John and I were going back and forth, like, what in the world would be causing me to have low blood sugar, and realized that my thyroid had become quite optimized, and I was in hyper mode with my thyroid instead of hypo. So I had to completely shut down my thyroid medication for a period of time, and then I had to start working it back up. There was multiple supplements I was taking that, given the weak position that I was in, was actually working to lower my blood sugar as well. But John and I sat down, we took Roger to dinner, and I mean, he just said things that made perfect sense. And the two of us were not figuring it out. We were able to figure it out. We're super smart people. We do this for a living. But we had someone else's perspective that came in and just really gave us those exact details that we needed. And as we started to go down that path of his suggestions, things started to change. I
Right.
genuinely started to feel better. And he has checked on me every single day since then, just making sure that I'm okay, making sure that I don't need anything. And John and I trust him very much, just like we would trust a doctor, just like we would trust, a chiropractor. And so it takes a village. It takes a village. And there really isn't one doctor or one person that can fix everything for you or can always, and you can't have the expectation that one doctor is going to have all the answers. It's just simply not the case. I go to Dr. Mike Shainwolder. I think he's the best doctor in town. I absolutely love that man. He is in shape. He is healthy. He walks the walk he talks. And I really respect him as a doctor, and I'm so thankful to have him. And I love his entire staff. Everyone in there is optimized. They're all living the life. But I don't expect Dr. Shainwolder to know and do everything, right? He sent me out for an MRI of my neck. We found out that I have a bulging disc. We found out that I have a bone spur. I have nerve compression,
Impingement.
basically, right? Impingement. Okay, well, I don't expect Dr. Mike to be able to figure everything out. He said he could refer me to a neurosurgeon. I totally respect that. I don't want to go that direction. But Dr. Mike respects and supports the direction I do want to go in. So he helped me with BPC 157 to kind of help with some downregulation of inflammation. And then I started seeing Dr. Tribus and Dr. Lytle, Dr. Matthew Lytle and Dr. Tribus, because they are working different angles. They're doing acupuncture. They're doing soft tissue, the active release, therapy. They're doing adjustments. They're doing so many different things to try to get this thing back into place. But it takes a village. I don't even look at Dr. Lytle and think he has all the answers. He's going to fix this. He's going to make it better, right? I don't look at any of those doctors and think that one of them has all the answers. But I do follow their protocols. If I'm going to hire Dr. Shainwolder, I'm going to do what he tells me to do. And I'm not going to go get 3 other doctors' opinions and try to marry that. So if you are going to hire a personal trainer, if you're going to hire someone to help you with nutrition, I am a functional nutrition coach. So that means that I'm going to take medical principles and I'm going to marry them in, and I'm going to use food as your therapy. Okay, functional medicine protocols. And so what we want to do is we want to say, I need to follow what Debbie is suggesting. I can't follow 3 Instagram posts and someone that tells you to eat for your macros and what Debbie says, because what Debbie's suggesting is going to be so linked to your symptoms, to your body, to your gut health, to the season you're in, okay, with your gut, the season you're in with your hormones, the season you're in with your metabolic health. And as that starts to adjust, then we start to adjust food. But if we were just paying attention to a bodybuilder on Instagram, or we're just paying attention to someone that's having you count macros, they're not taking into consideration that something could be impacting your immune system. They're not taking into consideration how high histamine something that you're consuming is. They're not taking into consideration the rate at which your food is converting to sugar, just counting your macros. So what's interesting is when it comes to nutrition and when it comes to training, I actually feel uniquely different about the it takes a village. Because if you start to get a village behind you with your nutrition, you're never going to get where you need to go, because you need to pick a path and you need to follow it. And if you get too many personal trainers in the kitchen, they may all be working against each other. Now, we have a couple clients that train with a couple different trainers at the gym, and those trainers are communicating with each other regularly to make sure that they are on point.
Right.
But I work with the client on nutrition. My trainers work with the client on training. Then we refer them to a chiropractor. Then we refer them to an acupuncturist. Then we refer them, to a doctor like Dr. Shane Wilder, a functional doctor. So that's the team. That's the village, right?
Yeah, I think that nutrition is the main area that I watch people go sideways when they're getting advice. You see people think like, oh, well, I don't know. She told me I can't have this or have that, but I saw this article that says I can, or my friend said that they talked to someone and they said that they can. So, and you end up with this weird, muddied, like you take this from that and this from that and this from that. And the thing is, like, you might have something that works in the program or plan that you're doing right now, and then you pull something from that does work, and then you have something over here, a program that might actually work. It's not even that it doesn't. It might work, and you pull it from there, and then you have this third program with something that might actually work, and you pull it from there, and all of a sudden you put these three things that kind of work together, and it doesn't work at all. And so it's like you have to understand that there's more to it than just, well, that seems like I would like to do that, or I would enjoy that, or I liked that concept, because the program, it should be our program, and it should be everywhere you go, is to get you well. And so it's all encompassing. It's, you can have this, you can't have that. You should eat at this time, you shouldn't eat at that time. You should have this much of it, you shouldn't have that much of it. So if you're reading something that tells you it's okay to have 20% of off meals, and then you're reading something else that's telling you it's okay to only have macros, and then you're listening to Debbie tell you when you can eat, now all of a sudden you're eating 80% on, 20% off whenever you want to eat, and whatever quantity you want, or mixing those together, and you're having McDonald's. It's like, but that fits my macros, and I'm eating it at this time, and only 20% of it is apple pie.
I'll give you an example, and I have multiples of these that I can give, but this is just one example. A client that I worked with, one of the issues that she had was estrogen dominance. She just had too much bad estrogen in her body.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to rebalance her body, definitely avoiding pesticides, definitely avoiding foods with hormones. But there are foods that actually increase estrogen, okay? There are foods that you can consume that will increase estrogen. And so in her case, we did not want to do that. Well, her doctor that she was going to was a chiropractor who I feel had the best of intentions, but they just decided that they wanted to be involved in the nutrition part. They felt like she was consuming too many animal products, and they wanted her on plant-based everything, like everything. And so she made that shift and didn't tell me about it, and then came to see me in a month, and her entire everything was just thrown off. I mean, her belly was swollen, her breasts were tender, her mood was way off in a big way. She had gained weight. She just simply didn't feel right in a month's time. And
Yep.
so I'm looking at all that she's eating. She's eating pea protein twice a day. She has all of these different foods that she's added into her diet, all of which create estrogen dominance. That wasn't factored in. That wasn't taken into consideration. And the reason it wasn't taken into consideration is because you can have a topic or a path that you choose to follow. Like maybe you stand behind don't eat meat and be plant-based, but you have to get to the nitty-gritty details on someone and
Right.
really understand, but is that the right way for them? Because just because it's the right way for you doesn't mean it's the right way for everyone. For more information on what we do for a 6-month nutrition program with myself, take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com or give us a call for a free personal fitness assessment at 636-299-2208. For gluten-free, dairy-free baked goods from my personal bakery delivered to your door, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. And for 100% grass-fed beef, the only meat that the Morris family will eat, take a look at fedfromthefarm.com.
Welcome back, everybody. This is John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3. Been talking a lot this show about just hiring a professional, someone that you can put your trust in, someone that is going to help you get to whatever goal you're actually trying to achieve, not just in our industry, but just in anything in life that you're supposed to be doing. But our industry is just very sensitive. I mean, it's really no different than the medical industry. Like if you go to a doctor and you're getting advice from a doctor, you do want to be careful going to multiple other doctors if what you're doing works for you. So like if you're getting good result and you're healthy and things are going right, like you don't want to go bring another element in on that. Now, if you're not feeling okay, of course you're going to shop around. It's no different than working with us. But if you're not hiring someone to assist you and you're perpetually living in this state of not being well, I tell people it's like in my line of work, people are more willing to be comfortable in their uncomfortable position they live in. So they've found a comfort zone, even though they hate it there. They're more willing to live in that than to just make themselves a little uncomfortable to move to somewhere else. So instead of being willing to sweat and exercise a little bit, and yeah, it hurts and my muscles burn, they'd rather just sit there and talk about being fatigued all the time and how much their back hurts and, how like they're not very strong and they get winded easily. And it's like, okay, but the answer to that is to actually use that. Well, and it's like, here comes the excuses because they'd just rather sit comfortably in that, just like that same loop of unhappiness and just not being well.
One thing I will say is that, and this is just pertaining to nutrition, but I think it can relate to multiple areas, is that clients will say, I've hit a plateau. I think I've hit a plateau. And they'll first sit down to me and say, I think I've hit a plateau. I'm like, okay, what makes you think that? Well, my weight, it's just been kind of stubborn. Okay. Let's go through our questions and see how things are going. And maybe that'll lead us to some answers of why your weight would stall. At the end of the day, what we end up finding out is they did not hit a plateau. They changed the plan.
Yeah.
Okay. So we started with the plan. We made some modifications to the plan. We went back. We took a month. Let's do those modifications and let's see how it goes. Let's see how you feel. And after doing those modifications, you brought spaghetti and meatballs in. You brought a hot fudge sundae in. You brought cornbread in. You brought gum in every single day. You brought a Diet Coke in. You went ahead and let them put Parmesan on your salads, just a couple tablespoons worth. You went ahead and had peanut butter 2 different times instead of almond butter. This is changing the plan. Okay. And no, I mean, I would love to live a life where none of those things impacted you and that you have the body type and you have the health that absolutely none of those things caused you issue. But the reality is that you'd been losing weight very consistently every single month. You had not been dealing with pain in your body. You had not been dealing with bloating. You had not been dealing with skin issues. Your allergies had improved. Your mood had stabilized. Everything was going the direction that you would like it to, and we had been sustaining that for months. And now all of the sudden, the skin issue is back. You're more bloated. You have more mucus. You have pain in your body. You've been irritable on multiple occasions in the month, and you've gained some weight. You've only gained 2 or 3 pounds, but in your eyes, you think you should have lost weight. Because you think I've done all the other things outside of those things I just mentioned, all the other things I've done have been exactly what I was supposed to do. Great. Then now we know how to help you maintain your weight if this is a weight that you want to maintain. Because you only went up by 2 pounds in a month. So that means we probably are maintaining your weight. But is this a weight you want to maintain? No, it's not. Oh, you still want to lose 25 more pounds?
Right.
Don't change the plan yet. Get the weight off. Get the weight off. Stick to the plan. Stick to the process. Stay focused. Get back on the horse. If you had something and it was an off meal, fine. No big deal. Don't feel shame. Don't feel regret. You had an off meal. Get back on the horse. Stay focused. And don't consider it a plateau. Just recognize you took a small detour and now you're back on the road.
Yeah, I talked about this, I think, last week. I don't remember for sure. I might have just talked about it to some other person. But I said it's good to have long-term goals and it's good to have short-term goals, but make sure that your short-term goals at least somewhat align with your long-term ones. And so we'll use weight loss. It's just an easy one to talk about. If you're trying to lose 100 pounds and you've lost 60 and 40 pounds more is still your long-term goal, and you start bringing these foods in because you just want these short-term feel good. I had my pizza, I had my ice cream sundae, and all of a sudden you've gained weight or you've hit this quote-unquote stall, as Debbie's saying it's called. You have to ask yourself, does the short-term goal of appeasing my stomach with pizza align with the idea that I still want to lose 40 more pounds? Because when you get that 40 pounds off, okay, speaking from experience, what you're going to find is, yeah, I can't have a normal pizza because if I eat dairy and gluten, I'm a psycho, okay, and then I don't feel well. But I can eat a dairy-free cheese, gluten-free crust pizza, and I might put a pound or two on until that sweats back off of me. But I'm fine. Like, my weight is where it's totally acceptable. I don't even know what I weigh, but I'm okay with where I'm at. But if I still had another 40 or 50 pounds I wanted to lose, and that swelling came on me, and then all of a sudden 2 or 3 days later I have something else because I haven't trained my body and my mind to be okay with bringing something in and not having something again within a couple days because my neurology isn't set up to be able to handle that. Now all of a sudden I'm up 6 pounds and I'm spiraling and starting to freak out. Was that little side grade, that little short-term goal? And people are like, well, food's not a short-term goal. Oh, it is. If you're wanting to have something, that's a short-term goal. Like, did it take away from your long-term that you're looking for?
As a nutrition coach and a personal trainer, my philosophy for 25 years has been not to chase goals with clients.
Right.
It has been to create values,
right,
standards, habits, commitments, discipline. What are your standards? Show me your standards in life. Show me your code of ethics, and I'll show you what your future looks like. I'll show you what your health's going to be. I'll show you what's coming up. I'd be dead if I didn't have quality standards. I would be dead if I didn't have quality values. I would not be alive.
So the thing about goals, like, where Debbie's coming from and then where I come from is I tell people to set goals, but it sounds like her and I disagree where she's going to say, well, I teach people what she just said and I'm telling you to set a short-term and long-term goal. But here's the thing. Your long-term goal, I hate to tell you this, it's never going to happen without what she just said. And so that's the point. When I tell you to set a long-term goal, I'm not telling you to set a goal and shoot for it. I'm telling you, you look at what you actually want to accomplish, and then you're going to have to build what Debbie just said to get there, because you're not going to accidentally end up there. And the thing about a long-term goal is it never ends.
Right.
And that's the thing is, like, if you expect a finish line in health, I hate to tell you this, but there isn't one. Now, I just told you there's a great place. John gets to have a gluten-free, dairy-free pizza every once in a while. It's great here, but it's not the end. I still have to eat clean through my week.
Right.
I still have to get the proper amount of meals in. I still have to exercise. Like, there's never an end to it. And that's one thing. We had a gentleman that came into our gym, an older guy, and he said he had someone he was trying to help with health. This guy's like in his mid-80s and just healthy as an ox. And he said that he helped this guy lose a bunch of weight, and the guy came back to him and was like, so when do I not have to eat like this anymore? And he said it just ripped his heart out because he's like, he hasn't figured it out. It's not going to stick because he hasn't figured it out.
Exactly. For more information on what we do at Integrity with a 6-month nutrition program with myself, take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com. Or for a free personal fitness assessment with any of our trainers, give us a call at 636-299-2208. For gluten-free, dairy-free baked goods delivered to you from my personal bakery, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. And for 100% grass-fed beef, the only meat that the Morris family will eat, take a look at fedfromthefarm.com. Thank you for listening, and God bless.